Hi everyone, I'm Tim, and today let's take the confusion out of gallop rhythms. We'll be covering the theory behind them, as well as the picking mechanics and technique that you need to accurately and effectively play these rhythms. Now, even if you're somewhat familiar with gallop rhythms, stick around to the end because we're going to be covering some even more advanced gallop concepts. So if you love these kinds of guitar lessons and tips and tricks, be sure to hit like and subscribe, and let's get going. The first thing I want to talk about is the technique needed. Now, if you've watched the video that I put out a little while ago on down picking, then I mentioned that when I'm down picking fast, all consecutive downstrokes, then my thumb tends to straighten out and my pick is now attacking the strings at a very perpendicular or 90-degree angle, right? But when I'm doing the gallop rhythm, I'm using much more of a traditional alternate picking technique that I would use just with any alternate picking line, like take a line like that. The technique that I'm using is virtually identical. My pick is twisted a little bit and it's going through the strings at an angle, just as if I was alternate picking. And the reason for that is because now with the gallop rhythm, we have an upstroke in it, right? We're going. So we need that slight twist so that the pick glides through the string. When you're just doing down picking, you don't really need that twist because your pick isn't going to get snagged with any upstrokes, right? So that's the technique that I use. See if that works for you. Now, next thing, let's cover what a gallop rhythm is not. And a gallop rhythm is not a triplet, okay? Let's take Metallica's The Four Horsemen as an example. That's a triplet rhythm, okay? So I'll give that a quick play. Right, that's a triplet rhythm. A gallop rhythm, it sounds like a very famous example would be Barracuda by Heart. It goes like this. Okay, so that's how the gallop rhythm goes. That's how it sounds. That's a good song to work on because you're just chugging on an open E power chord, right, for most of it, so nice and easy. Now, you can tell that it's different than that triplet rhythm, like the Four Horsemen's a triplet rhythm, right? 1 triplet 2, 3 triplet 4, 1 triplet 2, 3, 4. Versus 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a, okay, so different. Now, let's talk about the nuts and bolts of that gallop rhythm. What is it? First of all, we have to understand 16th notes. Well, 16th notes, take 16 of them to make 4 beats. That's where they get its name from. And so there's 4 of them in every beat. Okay, so we're going to equally divide the beat into 4 parts, and we go down up in every beat, and we're going to count that 1 E and up. Okay, so let's just play a couple measures of straight 16th notes. I'll just count them out first. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and okay, now one measure where I won't count. Right? It's just down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. That's 16th notes. Now, to get the gallop rhythm, all that we're going to do is take out the first upstroke. So we're going to go down. We'll still have the upstroke, but we won't hit the string. Down, up. So every measure or every beat is going to have down, down, up in it. Okay? So what we're doing by skipping that string on the upstroke, we're going down, miss the string on the first upstroke, down, up. We're just extending the time value of that first 16th into an 8th note value, half of a beat. So we have half of a beat for the first note, followed by a quarter of a beat and a quarter of a beat. That equals one whole beat, right? 50% plus 25 plus 25, there's your beat. Down, down, up is one beat. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and okay, that's all the gallop rhythm is. So let's play that Barracuda nice and slow, and you'll see that at work. Now, for those of you that want to rock a little bit more, I'll give you a bonus riff, if you will. Power Slave by Iron Maiden is also a famous gallop riff, so it goes like this. And I'll slow that down for you just in case you want to add this riff to your practice routine to really nail these gallop riffs. Okay, so Barracuda and Power Slave is a couple of riffs to get you working on that gallop rhythm. And now you know what it is. I'm sure that you're going to hear it popping out in a lot of different songs. You know, Dio, Holy Diver is another famous example of the gallop. Hard Lovin' Man by Deep Purple is a famous, you know, older tune. Lots of Metallica riffs and lots of Iron Maiden riffs as well really use that gallop rhythm a lot. So I'm sure now that you know exactly what it is, you'll hear it popping up, you'll be able to recognize it, and you'll be able to go and grab some riffs that you really want to learn and add them into your practice routine so you can really nail that gallop rhythm. Now, let's talk about another variation of the gallop rhythm before we get into some more advanced stuff, because I'll teach you some advanced gallops at the after the basic 16th gallops. But let's put the gallop at the beginning of the beat. Okay, so a lot of people refer to this as the reverse gallop because we're just reversing the beat, right? So what we're gonna do is go down, up, down every beat, but those 16th notes are at the beginning of the beat. As you can see at the tab, we go down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down. So that note that's getting held for half a beat is now at the second half of the beat. 1 E N, 2 E N, 3 E N, 4 E N. Okay, and it's very important to understand that concept of where the beat is, because that's really the only difference. If you look at what your hand's doing, once you really get into the rhythm, in the traditional gallop, you're going. Now, if you reverse it, you're going. Right? It's the exact same thing. Like if you don't have a beat in mind, it's the same thing. Your hand is doing the same mechanic. Okay, so it's very important to know where that beat is. Once you're feeling that beat, 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll do the traditional gallop first. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can hear those 16ths at the second half of the beat, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Versus the reverse gallop. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? So you can hear that there at the beginning of the beat. Completely different feel to that, really. But if you don't understand how you're playing to the drum machine or the metronome or whatever's giving you that pulse, it's just going to feel the same. You'll be like, why am I practicing this? It all feels the same, right? Very important to know where that beat's supposed to be. Okay, so now that we've talked about that reverse gallop, 1 EN, 2 EN, 3 EN, 4 EN, let's learn a riff that incorporates that. And a very good one, because we're just going to be chugging on the E string, is Raining Blood by Slayer. Okay, so after the first intro riff, you hear this, and I won't tune down half a step. I know that on the album they played Raining Blood half a step down, but let's just do it in standard. You know, this isn't a Slayer lesson. It's just, let's get the gist of what these rhythms are, right? So here is the rhythm in standard, not half a step, but this is what you hear. Okay, and once again, I'll slow that down for you in case you want to incorporate this one into your practice routine. By the way, if you're enjoying this lesson, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. It helps the channel grow and helps you see more of my content. I've got more theory and improv lessons on the way, as well as a lot more full song tutorials with full tab right on the screen for you. So if you want to grow as a guitar player, hit like and subscribe, and let's get back to her. Okay, so there you have the difference between a gallop rhythm, the reverse gallop rhythm, and a triplet feel. Okay, so they're all different as long as you know where that beat is and you're playing in relation to that beat. They all have a completely different feel, and they all need, their respective practice to really nail those rhythms and internalize them. Now, just because a triplet rhythm isn't a gallop rhythm in and of itself, it doesn't mean that we can't introduce a gallop into the triplet. So let's get into some more advanced gallop concepts now. And before I get into a long-winded explanation of what it is, let's just play a riff that incorporates it so you have it in your ear. And I have to change guitar for this because I can't put this one in drop D because of my floating trem. So I'll grab a new guitar, but let's play the first riff in Children of Bodom's Blood Drunk. It's got a really cool triplet with a gallop inside of it. So here we go. And I'll quickly do it slow for you as well. Okay, so there's that first riff in Blood Drunk. Now, I just want to make mention of the tuning. Right now, I'm just in a standard tune guitar, but I dropped the low string to a D, so just standard drop D. But if you wanted to play along with the album, then it's actually drop D down a whole step. So you drop all your strings an additional whole step. Your bottom string would actually be a C at that point, right? I just wanted to make mention of that because, if you'd go and try to play to the album, it's not going to sound right. But I thought, let's keep it simple so that everybody can just quickly drop their D string and play along to this lesson, right? And again, it's just for the purposes of demonstrating these rhythms, not for learning the songs, okay? Now, let's talk about that rhythm. So we've got triplets, right? It's a very triplet feel, and we're gonna achieve this with all downstrokes. 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet, right? We're evenly dividing the beat into 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we introduce a gallop in the middle of that. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet, okay? So this is how we can incorporate gallops inside triplet rhythms, okay? So what we have now in each beat is a down, down, up, down. 1 triplet, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, we could put that gallop anywhere within that triplet, right? The Blood Drunk riff just shows how to put it in the middle of that triplet, but we could also put it at the front of the triplet. Triplet, 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 right? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Now, we could also put it at the back. Actually, I'll just speed that one up, just so you kind of hear that one in action. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that's how it would sound at the beginning of the beat. At the back half of the beat, or the final triplet of the beat, 1 tripletta, 2 tripletta, 3 tripletta, 4 tripletta, right? So now we would have a down, 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 up, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Okay, that's how that would sound. Sped up a little bit. Okay, so let's do another riff that kind of shifts where that gallop is. And let's do Ashes of the Wake, the first 8 measures of Ashes of the Wake by Lamb of God. And you'll get a feel for where you can shift that gallop within the triplet. Here we go. So those are all the gallop rhythms that I wanted to cover today. We talked about the traditional gallop as well as the reverse gallop, and then we stuck that gallop in on every note within a triplet. Aside from that, don't forget to like and subscribe so that you can keep seeing my content as well as help the channel out. And thanks for watching. Really appreciate it. I'll see you next time.